Or the... Okay. We now to talk about the compassion of Buddha.
The compassion of the Buddha. You say that the Tathagata protects beings from harm and blesses them with goodness. Yet when the Blessed One was preaching the discourse on the simile of the great mass of fire to the monks, hot blood was ejected from the mouths of 60 monks. By his delivery of that discourse, they came to harm and not good, so that the statement of yours is wrong.
So probably you may not understand.
That's some trippy English there.
Probably we can sit with the later one we can understand, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you please?
Sure. What happened to them was of their own doing. But Nagasena, if the Tathagata had not delivered that discourse, would they have vomited hot blood? No. When they took wrongly what was said, the burning was kindled within them. Then it must have been that the Tathagata was the chief cause to destroy them. If a snake were to crawl into an anthill, and a man in want of earth were to break into it and take the earth away, and so the snake was to die for want of air, would not the snake have been killed by that man's action?
So understand this analogy, but probably you may understand the background of this story.
No, the story of the vomiting one, that's totally new. I've never said that. Yeah, sounds like a cool story.
Yeah.
But the snake thing, I'm trying to like piece it together in my brain. Like
So the snake will grow into an anthill, right? A man in want of earth, so he just want to get the earth, right? He break into that, take earth away. So the snake will to die because of the end, right? The end life.
it collapsed.
The collapse.
Yeah.
Collapse. So
Okay.
So who caused that? So basically, okay, I think we can read the bottom, so it's understandable. Otherwise, confusion. Yeah, confusion. Yeah, please.
Yes, O king. Nevertheless, when the Tathagata delivered a discourse, he never did so with malice, but preached totally free from malice. Those who were practicing rightly were enlightened, but those who were practicing wrongly fell. Just, O king, as when a man shakes a mango tree, those fruits that are strongly fastened to it remain undisturbed, but those that have wrong stalks fall to the ground.
You understand now?
So they were practicing wrongly and misunderstanding what he was saying.
Yeah, but like the snake grow into the earth, right? And so some of the earth collapse, and this is it's harmed the snake, right? And this one, like, it is clear when you shake the mango, whichever fruit is strong still remain. If it's fruit, if it's the ribbon, it will fall down. Same way. So one more times, the Buddha or the holy monk, they never have any kind of malicious or anger, any kind of negative thought. So even sometimes as a parent, sometimes you want to teach the children something, but they went the wrong direction, right? And they cry. So not because of your intention to harm them, but because they make it wrong. They make a mistake. And this is, we have experience with the children too. They're still in school. We try our best. We try our best to teach them, but sometimes they don't understand. You know the story about the professor from New York University? He was fired because he's so strict in grading the student. You know that's news.
I heard about that.
So he was a Princeton professor. Later on, he taught at New York University, State University, right? But somehow in his class, in his chemistry class, about 300 students, right? And 80, more than 80 of them wrote a feedback, a complaint that he grade the test so hard that they may fail the class. And what happened then? The school kicked him out. Take a student. It's a lot of.
He's suing. He's suing them.
Yeah.
I saw it in the news.
I mean,
He's suing the school for firing him.
I mean, is it not clear that things are graded on a curve anymore? You're not allowed to do that, or?
When you're a teacher, if one or two students doesn't understand the material, it's probably the student's fault. But if majority of the class doesn't understand the material, that's the teacher's fault.
Yeah.
I taught wrong. I didn't teach them the right way because they didn't learn it, and that's my fault. That's the teacher's
But
fault.
even so, even at like at a university level where you're kind of maybe in a sort of competitive field anyways, you know, right off the bat, okay, this is gonna be on a curve and this is what the standards are. It's your choice to either catch up understanding the work or.
I think it depends on what his intention is,
Yeah.
because if this is, pulled straight from a textbook, straight from lecture, like
Right.
you should know this
Right.
material and you're failing, that's different than him
Yeah,
saying.
I suppose
"Oh,
suppose it matters what
Yeah.
field he was in, like comparative studies.
Yeah.
Well,
But yeah, like maybe physics or some sort of math or something that there's a objective.
Right.
I think there's a difference between a college professor and a professional educator too. We're that's kind of a mindset that was drilled into us. If something, if an assessment isn't working, there's something in the process that was wrong. So we did something wrong. We're a professional who comes in maybe from a field like chemistry
Yeah.
or whatever. They may not have the background in education.
Right.
They may not even think that.
Right.
Here's
This
the
is,
test.
this is,
stuff you
yeah,
have.
objectively,
Yeah.
this is what it is, here's the material to get to that objective.
Right. So I mean,
It's your responsibility to get from point A to point B, I'm here to help if you need it.
And even this, in my classes, sometimes the student they sign up for the class, but they didn't do anything, and I cannot help them in anything because if they don't do the work,
Can't learn.
if they do the work, yes, I can give them some kind of coding, I give them some extra credits. That's okay. If they don't learn, you have no choice.
This was just, and I admit I was probably just kind of naturally gifted as a student anyways, but I found if you just followed the directions and the teacher knew you're following the directions and doing stuff on time, you're gonna be doing pretty good. But that's the main thing is that you follow the directions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course, some professor, especially in science major, or medical, or pre-medical major, they use top on the student. Yeah, they have good intention.
Yeah.
To filter out
Yeah.
the best one. Yeah, they have good intention to, but can depend upon the situation. Yeah, anyways, so there's the teaching here, so he can provide the teaching with the pure mind, but the monks, the one that follow him, they took the wrong path, the wrong thought. That's why they have that kind of karma. It's happened. Is in the class, so I told the student, 40 students, probably we may have from 4, 5, 6, and so forth. They don't study at all, right? It's normal. It's normal. Like you say, if it's more than half the class, that's the teacher problem, it's not the student. Only minority of them, only few of them.
Yeah, one of the things I mean, this is just the way I got through college was for every class, I would set aside 2 hours for the homework. And So, yeah, and it was crazy, and I was taking like more than 21 hours.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Girl, I had a baby.
Yeah.
And not even.
Yeah, too much, right?
But that was, I mean, for me,
Yeah.
that was the formula, and I didn't necessarily take up that whole time, but that was the plan was for every class, if you set aside that amount of time and actually just follow through with it.
Yeah.
You know, things keep going, but as soon as you start tripping up on that formula.
I went to art school. Creative thought was required.
Yeah.
And we would do 3-hour studio blocks 3 times a week.
Yeah.
And they would purposely assign 1.5 times work outside of class. It was mental. And on 12 to 18 credit hours, that's 3 to 4
Yeah.
studio classes a semester.
Okay, yeah, please.
Then the
Yeah.
screen. Do not be small because of discourse. Could a carpenter, by doing nothing to a piece of timber and simply laying it aside, make it straight and fit for use? No, venerable sir. Just so, O king, the Tathagata could not, by merely watching over his disciples, have opened the eyes of those who were ready to use, those who were ready to see. However, by getting rid of those who took his words wrongly, he saved those who were prepared to be saved. And it was because of their own defects that the evil-minded fell.
Clear now, right?
Very much a understanding that those who are ready, those who come to the path and walk the path, shed their past or shed an evil mind.
Applicable in education, the way how we teach. Yeah, we try our best to teach the student, but all the students they wouldn't understand. That's the problem. Please, Sam, the monastery.
The modesty of the Buddha. This too was said by the Blessed One. Control of the body is good. Good is control of speech. Control of the mind is good. Good is control. Good is control is everything.
Okay, we can stop it. Any summary question?
He's just saying it's good to control your mind and body and speech. I'm a little confused by the last part where it says good.
Everything is needed. Body, mind, speech.
Okay.
That's why in Buddhism we say that we need to be the owner of our own karma. Whichever we think, whichever thing we say, whichever thing we do, have to be in control. That's what it means. Have to be responsible for that. It's not easy, right?
Discipline and practice.
Sometimes we say something but we regret, right? Sometimes we just do something that we regret. It's not easy. That's why mindfulness practice is so important. We be mindful. When you sit on the front, how you heard the children? They made the noise downstairs. Okay.
Screaming.
Yeah. They scream.
So, somebody's down there screaming over.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I asked one of
It's a happy screen, so
the children. Yeah. Yeah. I asked him to stand to the wall.
Yeah.
With the mesa. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a giggle to scream ratio for kids. And like, so, and I tell them, look, the giggling is okay, but when the giggling and the scream ratio get out of balance.
So it's bothered too much, right? It's the scream. Is it a lot of noises, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's okay. That's what kids do.
Yeah.
But I just try to help them manage, like, well, see, we're inside now, our giggle to screech ratio is out of balance here.
So at home, when you meditate, they keep quiet. They run around. You meditate at home. sometimes.
But not when they're awake.
You can't.
Not when the little one's awake. I don't meditate when she's still kind of running around playing.
Because if you're sitting still, she's gonna come up and ask you something just because she's
Oh, really?
like,
Yeah, the audience.
You can train them. Mm.
I mean, that would be ideal, but
After school, we have after school program. We train them. Just sit
Yes.
for a couple of minutes. So that's right.
yeah.
We
I'd
give
love
them.
to see that.
Please.
Yet when the Tathagata was seated in the midst of 4 congregations, monks, nuns, laymen, and lay women, he showed the Brahmin Sila what he should not be shown in public, the male organ concealed in a sheath. If
Really?
he did, so then the first statement false.
You understand that now, right? This is wrong, right?
What was the first statement?
Mm.
It says if you did so, then the first statement's false. What was the first
If he did so,
control.
if he did so,
control. Yes, yes.
if he did so, this is
Yeah.
the place. So someone accused him
Oh,
of
okay.
that. If he did so, that's the false.
Okay.
Because he always in the proper
Modesty, yeah.
mindset in
Okay.
proper. Yeah. That he get that example.
The Blessed One did show to Sila the Brahmin what should not be shown in public, but it was by means of supernormal power that he created an image of it, and only Sila saw that image. To him, in whom doubts had arisen about the Tathagata, the master showed the male organ concealed in a sheath by means of supernormal power for the sake of awakening him to the truth. Skilled in means, O king, Tathagata, for the sake of scorning physical beauty, the master took Venerable Nanda to the celestial realm to see the lovely maidens there, and by means of a piece of clean white cloth did he awaken Venerable Kulataka to the impurity of the body.
So you know the story about the Buddha took Nanda to the heaven. You know the story. Actually, if you type the thirst I have heard that video clips is made by the Thai people for more than 4 hours.
Yeah.
It have that section. That section that Buddha took Nanda to the heaven to see celestial female one. Yeah, because the story is that Nanda, the Buddha, after he got married, so the Buddha went to see him, and somehow the Buddha intentionally gave him the bowl to hold, because Nanda, he showed respect to the Buddha, so he could hold the bowl and follow the Buddha to the monastery. And at that time, the Buddha asked, "You want to become a monk?" He just got married. So because of the respect to the Buddha, so he could not say no. He said yes, yes. So that's why he became Buddhist monk, not by choice. So, but later on, so throughout the day, he remembered his newly wives. So he could not maintain anything more. So one day, according to the story, right, the Buddha took him to the heaven, went to heaven, and asked him that compare with your wife, your former wives, with those celestial female up there, who is more beautiful? And Nanda said, "Yeah, probably up there." So Buddha said, "Well, why don't you cultivate well? After you pass away, you go up there with them." that is a funny story. Yeah. So he did. He did, but later on, the Buddha, in this story, and in that video clip, it didn't show. But in the long story, it said that one day, many monks asked him why he did meditation to become monk and so forth. And he said that, yeah, Buddha promised me after I done with this life, I will go up there with them. So later on, the Buddha took him to the hell. And somehow, of course, it's a legend. Somehow he visits the hell where this is empty boiling water place, and Nanda came up and asked the one that boil the water without anyone inside, so that that hell, you can say the hell god, and said that, well, I boil this water so that can wait for Nanda. After he enjoyed his life with the celestial female up there, he will be down here. It scared him, so he went back. So he like, forget that, I don't want to. So that is the funny story about it. Yeah, that's funny. So again, depend upon how to say. And another story, the meaning of a piece of clean white cloth. I forgot this story, but somehow in the past, the Buddha encouraged the monks to go to the cemetery. We talked about that, right? To contemplate on the corpse, so that they won't have attachment to the physical body. That's why. So anyway, this is all especially in Mahai tradition. It's all about the skill and mean, no matter what. And another story too is one queen. She was so proud with her beauty that she didn't want to see the Buddha, because the Buddha always talk about the impurity of the body. And but one day somehow her husband, the king, convinced her to go to see Buddha. So at that time she went to see Buddha, but because the Buddha used his sacred power to raise much more beautiful ladies, the image of a more beautiful lady than her. But somehow at that spot, somehow that image changing from a beautiful one to the old one and to the dying one, and eventually only the skeleton. And at the moment, the queen recognized, had the kind of awakening. Oh yeah, that's life. She become Buddhist nun. Yeah, so basically, the Buddha uses kind of sacred power at the means to guide people in the path. Yeah, that is extraordinary one. Yeah. Okay.
Shariputra, the chief disciple, said, "The Tathagata is perfect in speech. There is no faultful speech in the Tathagata, concerning which he should have to take care that no one else should know it. So why did the Buddha use harsh and abusive words to Sumina, the Kalanda, and call him a stupid fellow?"
Yeah.
This is like the interesting chapters of this book.
This is like Buddha.
Vomiting blood,
Yeah, this is life one, right? It is more in human nature, right? Yeah, it's understandable. Sometimes you may use hard words, right? May yell to your children if they don't listen. Sometimes so depend, but no matter what, the Buddha did with his compassion, not because of anger. When we yell at each other, right? When we have some kind of conflict, when we have some type of argument, we have a lot of anger, or hatred toward, or resentment toward each other. And that's especially the parents, right? Sometimes we cannot control our mind. Is that easy to control when they mess up? No.
It depends on how bad they mess up.
Well,
I guess that's
yeah.
how extreme it is.
Yeah, then another story like this one too. So one prince, his close, actually, he half brother of the Buddha. His name got the whole this long name. So he became Buddhist monk, that prince became Buddhist monk, who is Buddha half brother. So why most of the time why the Buddha was teaching, so he fall asleep. So we will scold him that you're a prince. You're supposed to listen to my teaching. You're not supposed to fall asleep while I'm lecturing. What happened then? That prince, that newly ordained monk, made the vows within 7 days. He would not close his eyes. He would not sleep. So what happened then? His eye was defective. But later on, because of his sincerity to practice meditation, he attained what we call the eye psychic
Oh,
power.
he went blind.
Yeah, he went blind.
Okay, he went blind, but then developed.
The
Yeah,
psychic
yeah,
eyes.
okay. That story I know.
Yeah, make you wonder why, right? You don't know why. You know why? He blind because of 7 days without
Mhm.
sleeping, but he attained the hardship. He
Right.
got that type of psychic eyes. Why is
Right,
that?
well, because your consciousness is able to see a lot more, and it's not just sense seeing, it's
Mhm.
truth seeing. So
That's what they call psychic eyes. It's go beyond the flesh eyes. Last time we talked about the arhat. They have 6 types of psychic power, right, Sam? You right? Yeah, that's what about. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, please.
That was not out of goodness of him, but merely to show him the foolish and contemptible nature of his conduct in a way that would do him no harm. If any man in this birth does not attain to perception of the Four Noble Truths, his life has been in vain. The Blessed One used words of truth. They were no exaggeration. He admonished others only to destroy the disease of unwholesomeness. His words, even when stern, softened men's pride and made them humble. They were full of compassion and aimed at benefit as the words of a father to his children. Using words to wake people up and show them the truth.
You know in
do
the
not
Zen.
attempt this with your friends.
Yeah. And in the Zen tradition, Lin Chi, heard about that? You don't know her? Probably later on we can talk about him. Lin Chi is one of the great master, the Zen master. The way he has special way to teach people, his disciple. That most time he yelled. He yelled to his students, even he beat too. In the past, in the years somehow, they use a couple of tools or experience to wake up the student, not because of the hatred, not because of the anger or resentment. They just have to wake up the student. That's why there's a special technique there. So probably make you guys so surprised how hard is that, right?
I've seen videos of some Zen teachers that have like a special staff that they whack the students with that they fall
Yeah,
asleep.
on the shoulder.
Yeah.
You have to wake up with the student.
Yeah.
You know why you sit too long, probably at least a couple hours or more. It's easy to fall asleep. So you have 2 main obstruction: sleepiness or rumination. That means you have a lot of thoughts. So that's 2 main.
And there's part of me that just kind of thinks through also, like if you were to teach someone like that, let's say they were to fall asleep in meditation, you like whack them pretty like severely with a stick, that like imprints your entire nervous system with that fear or that like response, like, or that stake that like, you must maintain, and that, those types of things live in your body. So I imagine it can happen. I'm not advocating. I'm not advocating. I'm just saying.
Yeah, you have to have a lot of presence then, because then you're like listening and you think like being in the moment, waiting for them to walk around.
Yeah. Like I'm still here. I'm still here.
Yeah, please, Ivan.
The talking tree. The Tathagata said, Brahman, why do you ask an unconscious thing which cannot hear you how it is today? active, intelligent, and full of life, how can you speak to this so senseless thing, this wild Tulsa tree? Yet on the other hand, the Tathagata said, and thus the aspen tree made reply. I have no idea whose name that is. I can speak to. Listen to me.
Mm. Okay. You, I think it's probably the last, the bottom one. We can. You understand the. Yeah.
If Nagasena, a tree is an unconscious thing, then this latter statement must be false. When the Blessed One said, aspen tree, it was just a conventional way of speaking. For though a tree being unconscious cannot speak, the word tree was used as a designation for the deity who dwelt in it, and this is a well-known convention. Just, O king, as a wagon laden with corn is called a corn wagon, though it is not made of corn, it is made of wood. The Tathagata, when expounding the Dhamma, did so by means of the common mode of speech.
Understand now, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So what happened with the tree?
Well, in the first story, Buddha was questioning a man who was just speaking to a tree in the normal sense. And in the other story, Lord Buddha was talking to the spirit in a tree instead of just the tree itself, like the deity of the tree.
What do you think? Is this in a modern age? We think it's possible to have some deities who live in the tree.
I think so. I sometimes say things that I think sound strange, but I'll be honest. I talk to trees sometimes, usually not out loud, but sometimes I will touch a tree and think a thought that's like a message to the tree. There's a couple of trees near my home where I will exercise and meditate around those trees. And sometimes when I'm done, I'll touch the tree and say like a little prayer or something for the tree, to be its friend.
Well, you talk to anyone that's done ayahuasca, they will definitely tell you. They will definitely tell you that plants have a consciousness in it. But the thing is, that's not like a cultural specific experience, or that's not just like some. So I don't know. I think so too. I've not done it and I've not tried it. But certainly, it's really interesting the stuff people come back with, after those types of experience. So there's no doubt. Plus they have, there's certain types of electrodes they can put for sure in mushrooms, to understand how they communicate, and then certain types of plants too. I mean, you can hook up I don't know how exactly.
Yeah, I think
Electrodes, but the plants make certain noises and vibrations too. And you can see if you grow plants, flowers or whatever, it's a stressed plant puts off almost like a vibration. You can have two plants in the same bed and you water one not as frequently, or maybe don't give it as much food, or give it some sort of other condition that's slightly more stressful than the plant that's next to it. The plant that's just a little bit more stressed out, all of a sudden gets swarmed with bugs. It's like it sends out this vibration. I'm weak, I'm sick, I can't fight things off. So there's not only proof that plants have some sort of level of consciousness. I don't think it's anything near what we experience, but for sure there's some level of communication, energy, conscious energy exchange, or I don't think, bugs would know to be called.
Yeah.
Because it's weird, they're called to that plant.
Yeah, I think they have Some sort of, I mean, I think they communicate with like chemicals and vibrations and things. I don't think they can speak human language.
No.
So I don't think we can talk to them like we can talk to each other. But I think that, yeah, we can have some kind of relationship with them. And as far as like spirit and consciousness and things like that, like, you know, if you zoom out, like, you know, everything is part of like the same kind of life and consciousness to some extent, like all connected. We don't have independent existence. We all have dependent origination. So the tree, like if you talk to a tree or a cat or even like the sky or a rock or whatever, like in a sense, you're kind of talking to yourself in a sense, like a broader sense.
You trace back in most cultures, their religions start with that. It's like, you know, spirits in things, and that's how they relate to the world. So I mean, it makes sense. That would be, we all wouldn't come up with the same idea. Like that seems a little weird.
Yeah.
I like it as an idea too of what we view as unconscious things being conscious. I do woodworking and stuff, and I can tell you the wood that's been kiln dried and mistreated versus the wood that's been sustainably harvested and sawn with care, and it creates a different board. It creates a different reality to that object, but also to like in what we consume, right? High chi food, high energy food.
Oh, yeah, I'm so super sensitive to
has,
stuff
like,
like that.
Or even tea,
Yeah.
like you get this chachi, this energy of tea and stuff, and like
So you
has
still
a consciousness.
so you still do that job. So the job that you make, you say that you make the house without using any nails, right? What do you call that one?
Somewhat
What do you
Yeah.
call that term?
timber frame.
Oh, okay, yeah. You know what we're talking about, right? This is the temple, the Korean temple in, I think, Lexington. I don't know whether you've been there before. They build a temple without using any nails.
From the stone. That's what
Yeah.
it's called, yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
like,
It's like Korean.
Yeah, Korean one. Yeah, that's the first temple I came in 2000. So you advise them, right? How can you do that? What's your job? How can you advise them to make that type of house or building without using any nails?
Here,
By the kids?
the kids.
Oh, okay.
I don't understand.
Well, I mean that you say that you have that job, right?
Yeah, so my
Your position, your
not my work, what I do on my own.
oh, you do your own, okay. But you need to have a license or no? No,
Not technically.
not technically. So they cut the timber by kit, right? They just buy and set up like that according to the kit,
and
right?
like in timber framing, you use a lot of green wood, so it's
Oh.
undried. It's still it's fresh from where it's planed. But on my own accord, I like to do woodworking, planing, tea trays. Trying to find my pain back into it.
Yeah. Actually, I told him my idea. Yeah. Yeah, I may if I have a land in Houston now we have only half acre. It's too small. Otherwise, I may use the timber up there in Corden to be up there. But anyway, it's for the purpose of building a temple, not for burning. Because again, we respect the environment. And what do you feel? What do you feel? And you feel that big tree has some type of deity there. What do you feel?
Yeah, I mean, I go walking in the woods behind our house and I talk to the trees and touch the trees, and I know they're not gonna talk back to me, but they have an energy.
Yeah, there's some type of energy.
They give life to other things. They're alive.
Yeah. Probably other people would not understand. They may think superstitious, but before we chop down, especially big tree, we pass on the tree and notice this go for the next 3 days we cut down. Yeah, we let them the notice.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, you know, in the big timber industry, a lot of people got killed. Yeah, because we're chopping down the trees. Again, for us, the trees are one of the life. We cannot see them, but here, especially in this type of teaching, we'll talk to the deity, the one who designed in that tree, like we design in our body. There's a lot of story. Let me tell you a funny story. Right, related to the tree. So the Buddha allowed the monks to, at first, the first few years, to chop down the tree so that they can build a hut. So this monk, somehow he was skillful commodores. So he went to forest and pick up the big trees to chop down. But at that time, before he chopped down that big trees, so the deities on that tree went to complain to the Buddha and say, the monk came to my house, a big tree, to destroy my house. If not of the Buddha's, if he did not respect to the Buddha teaching, he would kill that monk because he has his power. So from that time on, the Buddha said that whenever you build a hut, you need to pray first for them, and have to be in modesty instead of taking down big trees. So it's relate a lot between the human, the visible one, and the invisible beings that we're gonna see. Another story related to my grandmaster Xu Yuan. So one time he transmit the Buddhist precept for thousands of people, but somehow later on he passed by a forest and he saw a certificate hanging on the trees. The certificate that he passed out to the people, so he recognized as the one deity, transform himself as a human to go there and receive the Buddhist precept. After that, he hang that certificate on the tree. I don't know whether it's just people believe or not. This is in the spiritual realm, you know. That's why it is so important. And in Thailand, I think you know, right? They ordain the tree. Remember, you know that?
Oh, no, I didn't know.
You don't know that? They ordain the tree. You know, in Thailand, people they respect the monk. So the monk has a good idea. They ordain the tree so that people would not dare to chop down the tree. That's a smart idea.
I see.
Understand that? Yeah. So that they can protect the forest. Yeah. Okay.
Me.
Yeah. Is that your okay? Yeah.
The last meal. It was said by the elders who convened the first Buddhist council. When he had eaten Kunda the smith's food, thus I have heard, the Buddha felt a dire sickness, a sharp pain, even unto death. Yet the Blessed One also said, these two offerings of food, Ananda, are of equal merit and are much more effective than any others. That after which the Tathagata attains to supreme enlightenment, and that after which the Tathagata attains parinirvana.
You got the idea now? You follow?
Well, I know the story of when Lord Buddha was ready to leave the earth. He went to, I didn't know it was a smith. I thought it was a farmer, but I know he went to a common man's house and had a last meal, and then he got a bit sick, and then, you know, the man was like, I'm sorry, Buddha, my food made you sick. And he's like, no, it's okay. It's time for me to pass away to better nirvana, complete nirvana, no longer on this world. I know that story. And this he's saying, the person is asking, you know, Buddha said that food was all right, even though it made him sick. So the guy is asking why Lord Buddha would say that food that made him sick is okay. And my thinking is, I guess because Buddha was ready to die, it wasn't really the food that was the problem, or it wasn't even really a problem because he was prepared to leave Earth.
Someone had to take him.
Yeah.
You know this story before? You know,
I
right?
think we talked about it.
Huh? We talked about
Weeks
that.
ago.
So, like he said, right, the first one that offered him right before his enlightenment, the merit the same as the last person who offered him the meal. For this guy, Kunda, according to some scholar, he offered a pork or the poisoned mushroom, and the Buddha knew the food was poison. That after he consumed that food, and he told him to throw away, not to let anyone to eat. And even the Buddha praised him. This is the last meal. You have your sincere mind to offer my meal, to offer the meal to me. So this is go beyond our ordinary people, right? What do you think? Someone, if you know someone give you the last meal, what do you feel?
I mean, I suppose it depends on like if you think it's, if you're ready to go, you just either surrender to that or, just
It's not easy.
ready to
Yes.
move along in your own
The
way.
difference between the intention of it. It's not like he intended to give him poison. It just
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah, he didn't have
Yeah.
intention.
It would be different, I think, if he was like, here's some poison. But that's not what happened.
But the Buddha knew the pure intention of this man. But somehow, like you say, he took that anyway. Then would you?
Well, I wouldn't because I still have things to do before
Yeah.
I'm done with this life. But Lord Buddha had accomplished everything, so he had no reason to stay on Earth.
Yeah. So he willing to take it, but not first.
One meal I eat is gonna be my last meal, but I don't think I'm gonna know which one
So, yeah, definitely we don't know until you have the wisdom. Right, Ivan? Right? Would you take that? It's not easy, right? No way, right?
Yeah. It's a thing.
Yeah, it's not easy. Not that easy for
It's a thing. I love the story of Buddha's last meal being poisoned to him because I have a lot of food allergies. So food to me can be a sticking point and can inherently be poison to me without me knowing, just because of my food allergies.
Oh, really?
If I had to choose a last meal, it's contained of literally all my food allergies.
Yeah.
All these things I couldn't eat, all the rest of the time.
Right? Like, let's do it.
Yeah.
One done.
It makes me think of a really silly comedy sketch I saw once,
Yeah.
where there was a woman who, it was her birthday and her dad was paying for whatever meal she wanted. So she went to a fancy restaurant and ate all this shellfish, which she was allergic to. But she was with her friend. And like when she started to have the allergic reaction, her friend started to panic. She's like, "Don't worry, I brought this EpiPen. So I'm gonna eat a little more, and when it gets too bad, just give me the EpiPen." It was really silly.
Especially in Buddhism, mentioned about, I think we talked before too, the food as a medicine. When we getting older, 15 and above, we see that. Right? A piece of cake, right? Or a piece of cheese may affect our physical body, mechanism of our body. So that's why in Buddhism it's just so important to have the healthy food.
I wish my dad would take good advice about food. He's actually in the hospital right now since yesterday. He has a lot of health problems, and a lot of them are related to he eats horrible stuff. But he's like 74, so he's not gonna change his ways.
Well, and it's crazy, especially in the American diet, how much food science goes into like addicting you to that food, like the way they certain additives or certain flavors are designed to have like really short like lifespan on your taste buds, so you want to eat it again. And they have all these weird tricks to get Americans hooked on, which essentially is like just real flavored sugars, I guess.
Sugar, alcohol. I just read an article about this, a company trying to take a carbohydrate that normally is absorbed by the gut and a fat like a protein
Mhm.
and linking them together to where they're undigestible. So you could like eat as much of it as you want and it wouldn't hurt you. And, like they're trying to like synthesize this thing so they could put it into.
It'll probably
And I'm
cause
like, that's gross.
cancer. It'll probably cause cancer.
Yeah.
It reminds me of
Horrible diarrhea.
Yeah. Oh, like in the 90s,
That
in the
diet,
80s.
that diet pill that people used to take.
They have the
Heard some
tester,
places.
right? They have the tester to test all kind of
Yeah.
food, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And so yeah, when we look at the birthday cake, right? It's so sweet. Most time we have right a lot of
yeah.
sugar, a lot of
Oh, yeah.
a
No,
lot of
that's why you
fat.
don't have a birthday cake.
Yeah, you don't like it. A lot of fat, right?
Too much.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah,
so
too much
bad.
fat, too much cholesterol, and so forth. This is so
Sometimes
extreme.
I will make the conscious choice, like with chocolate or like cake or something. I'm like, I know this is gonna give me a migraine,
Mm.
but just.
Right down, he really wants it.
Can't
Cancer makes it deal with the consequences.
And at home, right, for the children, it's up to your parents to train the children, right? Some parents, they just let the children go wild to eat all anything that they want to, and they couldn't control.
And then the kids are miserable afterwards.
Yeah, but so your daughter somehow they know, right? They know this kind of no. You have to guide them. Huh? Mm. In the school, have this type of teaching for them, right? Especially at young age. They don't have that type of diet and education for the children.
Not in elementary.
Yeah,
Elementary.
they get it in
Middle school.
hopefully once in middle school and once in high school. But
Oh, really?
I don't know about over here, but in Indiana, the health classes are online. So they don't actually have a physical class. They have to take it on their own time.
Yeah.
Not that the health class that I ever took taught me anything. You
That was
know?
always the basketball coach and they didn't want to be doing it.
Yeah.
They didn't teach much about nutrition when I went to school either, and what they did, I don't think was very accurate. They focused more on like how bad drugs are and STDs, STIs. They call them more now.
Well, it wasn't my generation, so I'm kind of at the tail end of Generation X. So like the beginning of Generation X, they were still teaching in schools that ketchup was a vegetable.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, of course, a lot of the science has changed over the years.
So
Yeah.
so somehow we somehow because of the advertisement, the people consume a lot of sugar with the cake, with ice cream. Most of the time it's so extreme, right?
Well, they figured out how to program people to eat that between the colors that they use, the advertising schemes that they have, the messaging that you don't even know that's happening on buses and billboards. And so not only are you constantly reminded, even subconsciously, you pick that stuff up whether you know it or not, and then if the product somehow makes its way into your system, it's set up with these flavors that cause specific chemical reactions, and then it trains your gut to start craving those types of sugar. So then you're not really even in control anymore of that whole loop, because you've got, stomach bacteria now that's like screaming at you for it. You've got the media. So you're hacked. You're hacked. Yeah. And so for me, I'm super aware of a hyper awareness of what I'm programmed, the programming that I consume, and how it, unconsciously it creates a lot of behaviors in all of us, just because that's how our environment is kind of set up.
Actually, American is famous for fast food, right? McDonald's. I don't know how people can handle every day. Yeah, this kind of fast food, right? There's somehow a lot of oil, a lot of cholesterol, and so forth. And even the children here, they love cheap. Right? like you say that
Was
the
that a
flavor.
Documentary, supersized.
Yeah.
meat?
Mhm.
Well, it's funny because River wants to go to McDonald's all the time, and it's like she spent her whole life. We've never been to McDonald's. We've never ate fast food. She's the pickiest eater. She's vegetarian. The only thing she could eat at McDonald's are French fries. So my mom took her to McDonald's, got her Happy Meal, and gave her the French fries, and she said they're too salty. I don't even like them. But she still wants to go to
She still
McDonald's.
wants to go.
Is this
Yeah,
the
it's-
She wants the
concept?
toy.
Well,
She
no,
wants the
it's,
toy. She wants the box. She
Yeah.
wants
it's the whole, it's whole the programming.
Yeah.
And
But
it's
she saw it on
literally,
a TV show.
yeah, it's literally, I mean, like they know what colors
Oh,
to,
yeah.
and what sounds, what smells, what chemicals to introduce to get you coming back.
If you want a fun experiment, take 3 cups and same tea, make a batch of tea.
Yeah.
And like a American style and serve it in a blue cup, red cup, and white cup. The blue cup will be more nuanced and different. Red cup will be extremely sweet. White cup will be the true taste of the tea.
Mm. Yeah, even
Things
the
we learn about
hamburger.
Yeah, I mean, that we've got that human system hacked. It's,
You know, what do you call the veggie burger?
Mm.
You think it's healthy?
no.
No way.
Yeah.
They put all kind of chemicals to make the similar flavor at the beef, right? At the hamburger.
Yeah.
How come it's young man he loves?
Yeah.
So sometimes he stopped by. He bought that. Because I told him it's not unhealthy. It's better to have the fruit, the vegetables, and so forth. Yeah, what to call they have Beyond Meat, right?
Yeah,
What
Beyond
else?
is one.
Impossible.
Impossible, right? Yeah. It's all kind of chemical. They mess up there. Even of course, even for the people, I think in the poor society, it helps people to stop from eating meat. That's okay. But on the negative side, it's too much chemical to put into the body. It's
In,
unhealthy.
in India, they have a lot of the same chains we have here, like McDonald's and Burger King, but there, because there's so many vegetarians there, instead of using like Beyond Meat or Impossible Meat, they just use like potatoes or beans. just do that. That's what they should do here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it more healthy.
So
than
there, have you
conventional.
guys seen where they're, it's not on the market yet, but they've gotten to the point where they can lab grow meat.
That's yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, they make the meat in the lab, right? Mhm.
They can print,
Yeah,
so-
yeah.
Again, we consume more kind of chemicals. It's unhealthy. Okay, anyway.
I would be more, I would definitely, I mean, I would be open to trying it because there's not like a lot of, that you're not ingesting like the suffering and all, you know.
But that's a temporary solution. Yeah, but for the to have a healthy life, it's better to consume
It's
healthy
better to
food.
just be a vegetarian, but I'm just saying, you know, but since our society is so fueled on eating meat and, you know, people do have good, like physical
Yeah.
results with eating certain types. It's definitely a better alternative to
Yeah.
what, factory farming is.
It's
so
better. It's better in
bad.
the way.
Factory farming is so bad.
Mhm.
And I think
Yeah.
to change over our nutritional understanding and communication.
Yeah.
So an 8-ounce steak is equivalent protein to black beans, broccoli, and a wild grain rice.
Yeah.
In proper proportions, you can have the same equivalent protein that's almost equally
Mhm.
bioavailable.
Mhm.
And people don't understand that transfer.
Right.
Right, and I think if they did, they could leave the meat behind. That the realization some of the biggest creatures on this planet do not eat meat.
Right.
Yeah, people ask me all the time, like, how do you get your protein? I'm like, I eat
Right.
I'm like,
Mhm. Yeah. Okay. Good. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, thumbs up. So you come tomorrow, right? But we see to Sunday, right? With the
What-
children.
What time is the event tomorrow?
10:30. 10:30. to
10:30 in the
come have
morning.
lunch. So she will dance too? She will do performance?
I don't know.
Don't
I
know.
don't know if she's gonna do it Sunday or not. She's gonna be here because she told me she would be here.
Oh,
but I
okay.
don't
That's
know.
good. That's good. That she get use of this group. That's
Yeah.
great. And all right.
Time in the
Good.
temple. It's good.
Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you. So see you. Thank you. See you then. Thank you. Ivan, probably William maybe be here too. You know
Wednesday?
William, right? William,
Or Sunday.
probably here. Yeah, I told him probably. You know William?
Yeah.
Yeah, he may come here tomorrow. And he stay a weekend. He said that he come down with his wife
Okay.
and the other weekend.
Cool.
All right, so see you then. Thank you. Thanks for visiting that. And that Aaron, he know. He cook well. Aaron, he know how to do now.
Yeah.
Great, thank you.
I told Aaron if he needs anything, just text me.
Yes,
I'll
yeah,
come back
that's just
over.
wonderful. Yeah.